Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you back to the Alluring Tranquility Studio for the second episode of our podcast. I'm your host, Faith, and I want to invite you to close your studio door and silence your phone notifications, and pour yourself a cup of warm hibiscus or chamomile tea. Today, we're settling in for a look at a couple of things that I feel go hand in hand. We are pulling the curtain on the invisible science that keeps our artisan creations beautiful, pristine, and above all, completely safe. And safety is the most important thing in formulating. Today's episode explores water and cosmetic preservation. Now, I already know what some of you might be thinking. If you're a small batch creator or an indie formulator focused on clean, poetic beauty, the second someone brings up the word preservative or talks about chemical stability, it can feel a little sterile. It can feel like it clashes with the gentle, warm, quiet, luxury vibe we want to infuse in our daily self-care rituals. But I want to validate your protective instincts right now, peer-to-peer. Wanting the absolute best for your skin is a beautiful thing, but here is the raw, unvarnished truth of cosmetic chemistry. The most dangerous thing we can do as artisans is let marketing trends override microbiological facts. If your formula contains even a single drop of water, or if it's an anhydrous product intended for use in a humid bathroom where a customer might dip wet fingers into it, like a foaming sugar scrub, skipping the robust preservation system isn't clean. It's a biohazard. Today, we're going to look at why water is both a life giver and a microbial playground, why tap water has absolutely no business being near your formulation bench, and how to master the big three preservative systems on the market, GeoGuard, OptiFen, and Germal Plus. Grab your formulation notebooks, put your hair up, and let's master this craft together. Part 1 of today's show, the alchemy of water and the microbial playground. Let's begin by talking about the single most common ingredient in cosmetics, water. On an INCI label, you'll see it listed as agua. It is a gorgeous solvent. It hydrates the skin, it thins out heavy plant-based butters, and gives creams that soft, cooling, easily elegant texture that makes application feel like a peaceful morning ritual. But from a microscopic perspective, water is the ultimate catalyst for life. The second you introduce water into a skincare formulation, you have created a luxurious, nutrient-dense resort for microorganisms. The first thing I want to touch on today is why tap water should be completely banned from your formulation bench. I often see new makers who are just getting started think, well, I drink my tap water, or I filter it through a pitcher at home, so it must be clean enough for my lotion. This is a massive, massive misconception. Tap water and standard spring waters are packed with microscopic, invisible elements that will completely destroy a cosmetic emulsion from the inside out. Tap water is rich in dissolved minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and iron. In chemistry, these metal ions act as a catalyst for oxidization, meaning they will make your gorgeous oils and fats go rancid at triple the speed. Furthermore, these mineral ions serve as an essential bug food. Microorganisms actively use dissolved minerals to build their cell walls and fuel their reproductive cycles. Municipal tap water is safe to drink because our stomach acid easily neutralizes trace pathologically benign elements. But your face cream, it doesn't have stomach acid. Tap water contains background levels of harmless bacteria and fungal endospores that float around, completely dormant until they encounter the cozy, nutrient-rich environment of your emulsion. Tap water also contains treatment chemicals that can react unpredictably with your botanical extracts, shifting your colors, breaking your emulsion bonds, and causing your lotion to separate into a watery mess within days. When we formulate, we push the absolute non-negotiable use of distilled water. And why must it be distilled water? Distillation is a thermal purification process where water is boiled into a vapor and then condensed back into a liquid, sterile chamber. This process leaves behind 100% of the minerals, bacteria, fungi, heavy metals, and impurities. By using distilled water, you are starting with a completely blank, sterile canvas. You are ensuring that there are no background minerals to feed microbes or to destabilize your shelf life. Even when using pristine distilled water, master formulators practice the heat and hold method. We heat our water phase up to 75 degrees Celsius or 167 degrees Fahrenheit, and we hold it there for a full 20 minutes before emulsifying. This doesn't just sterilize the water, it completely destroys any heat-sensitive microinvaders that might have slipped into your phase from the air or your utensils. Now that we understand that water is a breeding ground, let's look at the absolute mandate for preservatives. To successfully defend a water-based product, your preservation system must be completely broad spectrum. That means it can't just be good at killing one thing. It has to act as a flawless multi-layered shield against 3 distinct classes of invaders. The first of the 3 icks that we're going to look at today is bacteria, both gram-positive and gram-negative. A gram-positive bacteria, like Staphylococcus, are introduced when a customer touches the product with their bare hands. A gram-negative bacteria like Pseudomonas aeruginosa absolutely worship stagnant water. They can breed at terrifying speeds inside a poorly preserved lotion, causing severe skin or eye infections. The second ick we're going to look at is a single-celled fungus like Candida that thrives beautifully in a slightly acidic or sugary environment. If your formula uses honey, fruit extracts, or aloe vera, yeast will target it immediately. The third little ick we're going to look at is mold or filamentous fungi like Aspergillus. If you open a jar and see a tiny fuzzy spot on top, that mold has already established an extensive invisible root network throughout your batch, and it's already too late. Now I want to address the second massive misconception that trips up so many green beauty makers. Antioxidants are not preservatives. Vitamin E or tocopherol, rosemary, oleoresin, and grapeseed oil extract do not possess the chemical architecture to kill bacteria or mold. They are antioxidants. Their only job is to stop your oils and plant-based butters from oxidizing and smelling rancid. You absolutely must pair your antioxidants with a true antimicrobial preservative system to keep your water phase safe. In the second part of today's podcast, since we have already established our sterile water foundation, let's open the formulation cabinet and take a deep dive into the 3 most popular, reliable, and heavily debated preservative systems on the market: GeoGuard, Optifin, and Germall Plus. Every single one of these systems has a unique chemical makeup, specific pH requirements, distinct temperature sensitivities, and places where it shines or fails. Let's break them down one by one. First in our arsenal, the green label standard, the GeoGuard family. We're going to focus specifically on GeoGuard 221 and GeoGuard ECT. If your brand identity is built on a clean beauty, eco-certified, or poetic organic aesthetic, the GeoGuard line will be your go-to tool. Developed by Arxada, these are globally recognized systems accepted by major organic certifiers like EcoCert and Cosmos. The most common version you will use is GeoGuard 221, which is a liquid blend of benzyl alcohol and dihydroacetic acid, or DHA. First, let's take a look at what GeoGuard 221 is good for. It has impeccable label appeal. Using GeoGuard allows you to keep your ingredient deck free of parabens, phenoxyethanol, and formaldehyde donors, aligning your brand with natural beauty philosophies. Then we have flawless fungal defense. The combination of dihydroacetic acid makes GeoGuard incredibly lethal against yeast and mold, which are traditionally very difficult to keep out of natural products. And last but definitely not least, global compliance. It is fully approved for use in the US, Europe, and Japan in both leave-on creams and rinse-off products. Let's take a quick look at what it's not so good for. Extreme pH dependency. This is where GeoGuard trips up almost everyone. The organic acids in GeoGuard can only kill microbes if they're in their free acid state. GeoGuard 221 operates strictly within a pH range of 2.0 to 6.0. Effectiveness decreases dramatically as your pH approaches 6.0. If your finished lotion drips up to a pH of 6.2, GeoGuard loses its structural integrity, stops working entirely, and leaves your product completely unprotected. Then there's the aromatic interference. Because it relies heavily on benzyl alcohol, GeoGuard 221 has a distinct sweet, almond-like or slightly medicinal aroma. If you're trying to scent a face cream with a very delicate, soft botanical oil, GeoGuard can fight that scent profile and distort it. And then there's the surfactant deactivation. If your formula relies heavily on non-ionic surfactants, common in very gentle cleansers, they can bind to the benzyl alcohol and completely deactivate your preservative system. It is best suited for light facial lotions, night creams, acidic fruit extract serums, vitamin C mists, and hair conditioners, where you can strictly verify that the final pH sits safely between 5.0 to 5.5. Where it should not be included, traditional high pH cold processed soaps, liquid soaps, which usually sit above a pH of 9.0, or any formulation where you cannot easily lower the pH without ruining the structure. It is also not intended for aerosol or spray mist serums. Next, we have the globally compliant workhorse Optifen. Optifen is a highly popular liquid blend of phenoxyethanol and caprylyl glycol. Developed by Ashland, Optifen was created in direct response to the industry's demand for a highly robust, reliable preservative that was entirely free of parabens and formaldehyde, while still delivering the protective power of a traditional synthetic serum. I actually myself prefer Optifen because of the fact that it is paraben-free and formaldehyde-free, and it is a pretty good selling factor. I do not claim my products to be 100% all natural because I do prefer Optifen, but I do explain to people that it is paraben and formaldehyde free, so that's important to keep in mind. So what Optifen is good for? It has massive pH latitude. Unlike GeoGuard, Optifen does not care about your pH. It remains completely stable and highly effective across an ultra wide range from 4.0 all the way up to 8.0. This gives you immense flexibility when formulating, while phenoxyethanol acts as the main hammer against bacteria. Caprylyl glycol is the secret weapon. It is a gorgeous emollient that gives lotions a rich, luxurious skin feel, while also disrupting the surface tension of microbial cell walls, allowing phenoxyethanol to penetrate and neutralize them more easily. It can also easily withstand manufacturing temperatures of 60 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius, which is 140 degrees Fahrenheit to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. This does allow it to be added directly to your oil or water phase early in the formulation process without it breaking down. What it's not so good for: the instability shocker in pure water. Original Optifen is fundamentally oil soluble. Because of this, it is notoriously difficult to work with in pure high water formulations like crystal clear facial mists or oil-free toners. If you drop original Optifen into a pure water phase without an additional emulsifier or solubilizer like polysorbate 20, it will completely separate, sink to the bottom of your container, or turn your beautiful toner cloudy. Then there is the sensation risk. While Optifen is globally approved at up to 1.5% usage rate, phenoxyethanol can occasionally cause a mild, temporary stinging, numbing, or warm flush sensation in individuals with ultra-sensitive, hyperreactive, or broken skin barriers. It is best suited for heavy, rich leave-on creams, emulsified body lotions, sunscreens, and decadent plant butter emulsions, where its emollient properties actively enhance the luxurious texture of the final product. Where it should not be included, crystal clear, surfactant-free toners, or completely water-based serums, unless you are comfortable using a solubilizer to force it to integrate. If you want to stay within the family but need a pure water-soluble option, you would need to switch to Optifen Plus, which adds sorbic acid. Finally, let's talk about the undisputed heavyweight champion of the formulation world, Liquid Germol Plus. This is a patented, highly synergistic synthetic blend diazolidinyl urea and iodopropanol butyrcarbamate, IPBC, completely dissolved in a convenient base of water-soluble propylene glycol. If you are terrified of your products failing a lab test, or if you are selling high-risk items like foaming scrubs that sit inside wet, steamy showers, Germol Plus is an absolute pinnacle of defense. Liquid Germol Plus composition: propylene glycol is the water-soluble solvent base. Diazolidinyl urea is the flawless antibacterial champion, and iodopropanol butyrcarbamate, or IPBC, is the antifungal powerhouse. Let's talk about what it's good for. Bulletproof low-dose efficiency. This system is so incredibly potent that its recommended usage rate is tiny, strictly between 0.1% and 0.5% of your total formulation weight. It completely obliterates gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, yeast, mold, and fungi with absolute ease. Also, Flawless compatibility. Liquid Germall Plus is completely water soluble. It is fully compatible with virtually every cosmetic ingredient, including complex proteins, botanical powders, and all surfactant systems, ionic, anionic, cationic, and non-ionic. It will never cloud your toners, break your emulsion, or alter your final viscosity. And finally, it has excellent pH range. It works beautifully and remains fully active from pH 3.0 to 8.0. Now, let's talk about what it's not so good for. The formaldehyde conversion. The diazonalide urea is a formaldehyde donor. It works by slowly releasing trace microscopic and completely safe levels of formaldehyde into the water phase over time to keep the product sterile. While regulatory groups confirm it's entirely safe at cosmetic levels, consumers who strictly scan ingredient labels for clean beauty or chemical-free keywords will spot this instantly, which can conflict with green brand aesthetic. Severe global restrictions. If you plan to export your skincare line globally, Germall Plus comes with steep regulatory requirements. In the European Union, EU, it is completely banned from leave-on body lotions and creams. It is also restricted from products intended for children under 3 years old, lip care products, and aerosol sprays. And finally, extreme heat sensitivity. Liquid Germall Plus is highly heat sensitive. The IPBC component inside it completely degrades when exposed to temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius or 122 degrees Fahrenheit. If you drop it into a cream phase that is still hot from emulsification, it will fail silently, looking perfect at first until mold blooms in your customer's jar within 2 weeks. It is best suited for high-risk water-based formulations, clear hyaluronic acid serums, facial mists, liquid shampoos, shower gels, cleaners, and emulsified body scrubs that live in high moisture environments. Where it should not be included, any product line seeking organic certifications, EcoCert Cosmos, lip balms, lip scrubs, eye makeup, baby care formulations, or any leave-on product destined for the European market. I do have a copy of a quick reference matrix that I created. I will post it in the show notes. Hopefully, it will help you seamlessly choose the right system while you're sitting at your formulation bench, weighing out your phases. As we wrap up this look into what I deem are two of the most important components of skincare formulation, remember that a great preservative shouldn't have to do all the heavy lifting on its own. The best cosmetic chemists practice hurdle technology, creating a series of gentle obstacles that make it impossible for a microbe to survive. Use a chelating agent. Always add a natural chelator such as pytic acid, tetrasodium glutamate, or diacetate to your heated water phase. Chelators act like tiny chemical magnets that trap and bind trace metal ions in your water. This deprives incoming bacteria of the minerals they need to build their cell walls, weakening them so your preservative can more easily eliminate them at a lower dose. Sanitation is everything. Even the strongest preservative can be overwhelmed if your equipment isn't pristine. Clean your stainless steel bowls, immersion blenders, and glass beakers with hot soapy water, then spray them thoroughly with a minimum of 70% isopropyl alcohol. I personally use 99% alcohol in my studio. Then let them air dry completely before beginning your formulating. The ultimate test. Never guess when it comes to safety. Before you ever sell or gift a water-based product to your community, send a sample from your batch to an independent lab for a preservative efficiency test, also known as a challenge test. It is the only way to guarantee your peace of mind. Protect your craft, protect your beautiful community, and keep formulating with intentional, mindful science. Thank you so much for spending time with me today at the Alluring Tranquility Studio. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave us a beautiful review with your biggest takeaway from today's show. Until next time, stay grounded, stay inspired, and keep creating beautiful rituals.